What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Monday, October 2nd, 2023, and I have an emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now, it is 8:47 p.m. Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some unusual nuclear warplane activity, and we also have a nuclear bomber airborne, and we also have a massive amount of nuclear attack options being broadcasted to U.S. nuclear armed submarines. So, in the past, I would say about 2 hours, there's been nonstop emergency action messages every few minutes, a new message. And these messages are nuclear attack options that are broadcasted from the National Military Command Center, which is the Pentagon, to our submerged nuclear armed submarines. And we also have this B52 Airborne right now over Louisiana, which is extremely unusual for this time of day. It's late at night, and it's just extremely unusual to have one of these airborne this time. And it looks like it was flying with its transponder off for a good amount of time because I can't see where it took off from. Okay, it looks like it just turned on its transponder somewhere in central Louisiana, and it is now doing loops over Oakdale, Louisiana, and Leesville and DeRidder. Okay, some rural areas here. It looks like a lot of national forests here. So, a very low population area that this B 52 is flying over. Now, B 52s, for those of you guys who don't know, are part of our nuclear triad, believe it or not. Okay. They're not stealthy. Okay. They're not used for dropping gravity bombs, but what they do is they can carry, I believe it's 16 or 20 air launched cruise missiles that have a range of up to 2,000 miles. And each one of those air launched cruise missiles has a W-80 nuclear warhead on it, which has a maximum yield of up to 150 kilotons, which is at least 6 or 7 times as powerful as the atomic bombs dropped on Japan during World War II. And each B-52 can carry probably up to 20 of them. And we have 50 B-52s. Okay, so you can do the math on that. That's a ton of firepower. So these planes would basically fly halfway across the ocean, halfway across the Atlantic, halfway across the Pacific, and then they would release their cruise missiles towards Russia or China, and then they would turn around and come back. So they're definitely a part of our nuclear triad. And in addition to this B-52, we have two E-6 Mercury Tacamo planes that are airborne right now at the same time as the B-52. And then we also have all these emergency action messages being broadcasted. So I don't know what's going on, but there's definitely something going on because in my update earlier today, I showed you guys the Combat Sentinel plane that was flying near Kaliningrad, and the U.S. only has two of these planes. These are special planes for gathering various types of information, intelligence for the top generals of the U.S. and for the president. Okay, so when they deploy one of these Combat Sentinel planes to an area, it means that there's something going on there that is high priority, and the chiefs of staff and the president and the Security Council of the U.S. need to get a better bead on what's going on over there, because remember, they only have two of those planes. Okay, so there was one of them flying a boomerang type pattern along the Kaliningrad coastline. Kaliningrad is a little piece of Russia that's stuck between Lithuania and Poland. And me personally, I've never seen a Combat Sentinel plane flying in that area ever. I've never seen one flying off the coast of Kaliningrad or even in the Baltics or Poland ever. Okay. So very, very concerning. And we know that Russia is going to be doing a nationwide nuclear war exercise tomorrow. And in this nuclear war exercise, they're going to be going through a scenario in which 70% of Russia's housing is destroyed, and there's large areas of radioactive contamination, and also life support facilities are totally destroyed. Okay, so that's the scenario that Russia's going to be practicing on tomorrow. And then here in the US on Wednesday, our government is going to be broadcasting an emergency alert across the entire country. Okay, a nationwide emergency alert system test. And why would the government do that? Well, because that is the way that the government would notify us if there's a nuclear war. Okay, if Russia does a preemptive strike here on the US, a first strike, if they launch, hundreds of missiles at us, NORAD would immediately detect the missile launches and it would be disseminated to us through the emergency alert system. And so they want to test that system to make sure that everybody's getting these messages, that everything works, that there's no problems. And I just find the timing very strange that Russia's doing an exercise, we're doing an exercise, and then all of these doomsday planes and nuclear warplanes in the air on a daily basis over the last 2 months. And here we have more again tonight, more nuclear bombers, more nuclear warplanes, combat Sentinel plane last night. Things are really, really getting serious here. So I want to just go through some other headlines. We have some breaking news coming out of Crimea. Apparently, the head of Sevastopol announced a civil defense exercise tomorrow in Crimea and Sevastopol. That's like the capital of Crimea. The exercises are going to take place from 0600 to 1700 hours local time. And apparently, they're going to focus a lot on the Balaclava thermal power plant in Sevastopol. I guess that's a power plant of some kind. They're going to be doing some kind of civil defense exercise there. So that's very interesting. And we have some breaking news that there's been mass resignations among the ranks of the Russian police due to collapse of morale and lack of wages. This is coming from the BBC. We also have some breaking news that a Russian partisan movement or Russian partisan group set fire to a warehouse for the Russian army, and they posted about it on their Telegram, and they wrote, "Everything will burn that was prepared for the war." Okay, so this is a different partisan group than the other ones that have been active the last few months. This is a new one. We also have some breaking news coming from the White House press secretary. She said earlier today that if Putin thinks he can outlast us, he's wrong. We will have another package of aid for Ukraine soon. Okay, so very strong words there from the White House press secretary. No indications that the White House is slowing down their aid for Ukraine. We also have some breaking news coming from the U.S. State Department. And the U.S. State Department is saying that they have not verified reports that Serbia has withdrawn its troops and equipment from the border with Kosovo. So over the weekend, there were some rumors that Serbia was pulling back some of their forces. And I think that that's just BS. The U.S. has not verified that. Looks like we have this E6 here coming in towards Norfolk now. Okay, it doesn't look like it's going to be landing anytime soon. So we have two E6s airborne now, guys. Okay. And here's a picture from Rostov. Okay, this is the area where the Russian partisans set fire to a Russian army warehouse. You can see the smoke coming out from the skyline here. Okay, that's where the warehouse was in Rostov, Russia. And we have a migrant crisis unfolding in Italy right now. Thousands and thousands of migrants coming in from Africa. They're flooding this island in Italy called Lampedusa. It's a pretty crazy situation. So, a lot of stuff going on, guys. Just wanted to give you this quick heads up. We have a nuclear bomber airborne right now, almost 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Two nuclear war command and control planes off of Virginia, North Carolina. And we have nuclear attack options being broadcasted nonstop. So I'm going to continue to monitor the situation. And if anything else breaks, I will report it to you. Other than that, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere.